we go. All right, we are live. This is going to be a dramatic reenactment of the Twilight series by Stephanie Myers. The parts will be played, Edward Cullen will be played by Chris Roberts, and the part of Bella will be played by Benoit Bosanger. Should be a very good time. I'm looking forward to it. Carnies, say hello.
Hello.
We got Ghost and Scarlet in the chat. Probably others will be joining us in a moment. Got about 15 minutes till the big show. A little over.
We don't even really know how long the show is going to be, do we? We just know that it's around 2 hours.
Yeah, it should be right at the 2 hour mark. We'll see.
8 hours later.
Right.
That'd be quite the switcheroo.
Well, if they do have Benoit and well, it probably will. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, Benoit would be a good switch up if they did like a interview with him. We'll see. One thing I wanted to do before
3 hours of that very recently, so guessing that's not that likely.
True.
Are they going to have a strong opening and then kind of taper it off for the rest of the show? Or a weaker opening and build to something big?
Yeah, that is kind of the question, isn't it? I don't really know. We'll find out real soon, though.
I feel like they have always made a point of trying to finish with something strong and exciting.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'd be surprised for them to ditch that now.
I mean, they do need to kind of hype people up a little bit. I'm trying out a couple different things with the sound here. I've got Discord on a different channel, and I got YouTube on a different channel. I got the mic on a different channel. Usually I just kind of run with two. So apologies in advance for any weird audio issues. I will be muting Discord once the actual stream starts, so don't worry about any of us talking over it.
Oh, really? Well, then I gotta get some of these in now. Engineering.
Right? Yeah, well, I mean, engineering's important, so yeah, I have a feeling they'll be talking about that quite a bit. At least I hope so.
You say that they need to hype everyone up, but do they? Aren't their numbers like looking crazy good throughout this year of stability?
Oh yeah. Oh wow, Scooter got featured.
I think I was actually in this one.
And we don't just sell gently used spaceships, we also do ship repairs, ship detail, and ship paints. And even weapon swaps.
Hello?
So when you need your next ship upgrade,
Yo, sister, how you doing?
Scooter sent you.
Good, how you doing?
Y'all have a good evening.
Good.
You come on down and you tell Scooter sent you. Y'all have a good evening.
Good. He's a good director. He needs to he needs to be featured more.
A lot of people are still speculating on whether or not they will show literally anything for Squadron, but I'm kind of thinking no. I really wish they would just like end on a black screen with a date or like a quarter or something, but
They said no, so are you expecting a head fake somewhere?
I don't think so. They've said pretty definitively that they're not going to do Squadron 42, and I think that's probably because they'll announce a launch date at Invictus instead. Would make a lot of sense, since that's kind of the that would be my guess. So this one is just going to be for the PU, and then they'll do another one for Squadron 42 when they're closer to releasing it.
Do we want to change channels? Heath can't get in.
Heath can't get into the content career? Yeah, let's just jump up into general. Yeah.
We've come to save you, Heath.
There, I just dragged you all up to the Carnies general. Now you don't have to be alone, Heath. Yeah, that has a limit to the number of people in it? Who set that up? What kind of rinky-dink operation are we running here? 5.
Engineering's really cool, but what I want is an update on the social tools, crafting, and base building.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I think, just given that last year was just all, well, not all a focus, but mostly a focus on base building, I mean, they almost have to sort of say, this is what's coming in the next year and it's base building. I mean, I don't think that they'll do a head fake. I would imagine it's mostly going to be Nyx and base building. What I'm hoping for is the ability to build bases out in space, like on asteroids, as opposed to space stations. Actually hollow out a asteroid with voxel mining and build a base would be amazing. Not that I think that's what they'll do, but it would be amazing.
Well, it'd be cool, but I think you're reaching for the stars there.
Oh yeah.
Really on board with it as long as I can engineer it.
I still can't get over why it's only 2 hours this year when every year has been like a day and a half's worth of stuff.
Yeah, I don't
Seems
know.
very rushed.
Save time and money.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that's
largely
part of it.
about the questions they get every year. How are you spending what seems like 3 months and 2 full days prepping and doing this big old show for something where you haven't given us enough in game? So there.
Yeah, well, right. Well, I mean, we've been getting a lot of sandbox activities and that sort of thing. One of the things that I'm kind of curious about is, yeah, we've had almost no Around the First or Star Citizen Lives or anything like that inside Star Citizen. We haven't had very many of those shows, and probably about half of them were just very obvious ship commercials. Is literally the devs getting on being like, this is the best ship you can buy with your money, buy this ship. And that was pretty much it. No, this was a sort of design process that we went through coming up with this ship. This isn't how it fits in the game. This is the best ship we've ever made, so spend your money. So yeah, it hasn't been a very big information year, which a 2-hour show isn't going to rectify.
No. And I'm not saying I agree with this, but for the last, let's say, 10 years, the growing loud criticism is stop talking to us for so long about all the things we want to do and start doing the things. So maybe all of this is change in tone toward, all right, we will show you more when it's done and talk a little bit less about the plans that might not even happen.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, that is kind of a thing that, I don't know, I guess it would show a certain amount of maturity if they were, this is the plan for the next 6 months. This is Nyx. This is what it looks like. You're going to have it in your hands by December. This is the plan with the storyline. There's going to be a lot more Van Duel. Here's a few ships. Merry Halloween. Yeah. So that's.
They'll probably talk about what they did so far this year too, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine. I'm talking about the stabilization and stuff. Yeah, they almost have to sort of say these are the accomplishments that we made. And honestly, the game is a lot more stable now. But
yeah,
yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. Under 10 minutes, gang.
Woohoo!
How come we never do that?
No, that'd be weird.
That's great.
Who made that one? That was pretty good.
That's one I want to save. I'll have to come back and look at that later.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out who did that one. Yeah, they didn't put the name up. At least Wookiee's good about putting his branding up there. At least, you know, I'm Scooter.
Anybody else always expect those videos to end with "Come on down"? I said, "Come on down to Scooter's U-ship sail."
Well, now I am.
Is that just a Northwest thing?
Oh, no. Yeah, well, it's also a Northwest thing, but yeah, I've seen them in Colorado. That's like, what was the name of like Carpet Outfitters or something like that? Like everybody thinks it's a local chain, and it's really based in like, yeah, God, I don't even know. Yeah, probably New Hampshire.
588-2300 Empire.
Today.
Yeah.
Definitely local, since yeah.
That one's right up there with Shane Company and being completely branded in my brain.
Cars for kids.
Yeah.
Haven't seen one of those for a while, but that said, I haven't watched actual tech TV with actual commercials for a while, except for like watching Sports Ball or something.
I'm sure that's a lovely charity, but the people who wrote that ad have a
Are evil.
place now.
Yeah. They deserve a spot in Twilight, which we will be reading here in 5 minutes. In its entirety.
Yes, I knew I was in the right stream.
Right? Yeah, that's what us Carnies are all about, is just dramatic reenactments of Twilight. Hermes does a great Jacob. Six minutes, 30 seconds. Guys, I would like to make a statement that I have got I've actually got my chat up. I'm almost like a real content creator now, so I can actually see it when people who are watching my channel say something.
Is anyone saying something?
Oh, so many people. Accurate. Accurate. We should do one of these next year.
I have no artistic talent.
I would have done a Pariah short, but yeah, this year they did. The good and downside of them doing a patch every month is that there wasn't really time to kind of pull everything together and run it. Usually when you got like 3 months, you hit a point where you're kind of like, okay, yeah, I kind of played the content. Let's just do something fun.
So we know that, well, we don't know, but it's a pretty strong guess that they're going to show off something Nyx related, right?
I mean, we don't know, but I would put Nyx at like the 99% range, where if they don't talk about Nyx, it's going to be really weird, because that's gotta be coming soon.
But with Pyro... Okay.
I was gonna say, there have been like some serious, if it's unintentional, it's weird. If it's fake, then somebody's really gone all out with the leaks on Nyx. To where if it doesn't happen, somebody's losing their job.
Yeah, probably. but what were you gonna say, Ghost, with Pyro?
With Pyro, it's when it was concepted many years back, it was a lot less habitable, and there was very few settlements and stuff like that. And then they kind of realized, all right, well, we gotta fill the game with something and put more settlements and gameplay around them.
Yeah, I think there was only like 2 or 3 stations. There's Ruin Station. None of the planets were habitable at all. Like if you landed on them, you'd start melting within a few minutes. So yeah, they changed it up.
Of them are breathable.
Yeah, and yeah, now they realized with Planet Tech that they could increase the game territory considerably. But where were you going with that?
Well, I'm curious about what they're going to do with Nyx now, because Nyx is supposed to be what? The station with Delamar, and then 2 or 3 just barren planets. You can't. Yes, they could just throw the planets down there, but I gotta imagine there's going to be some amount of activity or something to do. You can't just have a system of like, all right, well, there's one point of interest and some missions to mine. There you go.
Yeah, there is the big sort of nebula, I believe, where everything hides out, so they'll have that.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to the traffic jam of trying to get in and out of Nyx.
Yeah, right. That's why we're starting there. That is the no, I wouldn't say the home system. Home system of the Carnival is Goss, but Nyx will be our home until Goss drops, so a few years at least.
I hope that they treat Nyx better than they did Pyro, because still Stanton is still the hub of all activity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling that Nyx will be more of a battleground system because you'll have the Vandul there, you'll have the military coming in from Castra, and then you'll have gangs pouring in from Pyro and stuff like that, and you'll have traders coming in from Stanton. So I mean, it's gonna be a wild system, and it's run by the Citizens for Prosperity. No, who runs Nyx?
I don't know.
It's an independent group. People's Alliance, that's it.
That's it. I kept wanting to People's Republic, and I'm like, that's not it.
Right.
We're going to see anything about Castra? Probably not Terra.
Maybe
Castra?
I could see them ending with Terra the same way that they ended with Castra in the last one. But it won't be very long. It'll be like a 5-minute teaser, if that. I mean, with 2 hours, you don't have a lot of time to dig around.
Yeah. I hope that whatever they do show, if they show, popular things like engineering or crafting or something, it's more than 90-second clips. I hope they dig into it and be like, oh, this is how you do this. Here's 10 minutes of us crafting.
Yeah.
2 hours eventually.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that they just go with like an hour and like 50 minutes of just people playing dress up. Would be amazing. We just decided to really reward the people that make costumes.
Welcome to 2 hours of Starby.
Starby. Now you see, Starby I'd be okay with if they kind of went into more of, okay, now you don't have to loot a body wearing armor and clothing with an invisible undersuit and glitch it to get it onto your body so that you can wear armor and clothing. If they just said, it's gonna work by the end of the year, here you go. And we are 20 seconds out.
I hope that they go into more detail of how Starware is going to be beneficial. Otherwise, people are just going to still wear heavy armor.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the social module, and it's kind of how are they going to limit it in the ship, because it seems like it'd be more beneficial for. Here we go. All right, gang, muting ya.
We have finally moved past the question of whether it's marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We have finally detail at massive scale, seamlessly, and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months. It has brought a more populated and active verse with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts, or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your playtime is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next star system would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vandal threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's third system comes online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams,
Called
server meshing,
it.
accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes, and most importantly, all of you. Now, I do miss that we're not all together under one roof this year, but in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties, 9 of them with our developers in attendance, and countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously today. So even if we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
Nice. All right.
that's
Here we
exciting.
go. Good. Good. All right, gang. Here we go. I was, but you know I can't quit you. That's a pretty cool graphic. That probably took him most of the last 6 months. Reminds me of the old New Line Cinema.
Yeah.
Anybody getting like echo?
I was for a little bit and then it stopped. I think it might be coming through the stream. Hopefully it's not coming through the stream.
I'm hearing everything twice.
Not hearing anything
With
from
the
us?
foundational technology now in place, the content development of the game is no longer restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5 star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved Levski landing zone added back to the verse, while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacium Belt.
Oh, I thought they were
Here,
going to say
you'll
Aslan.
experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures for you to discover. With this edition of our 3rd star system, we're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire Star Citizen experience, and that is to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year, with the addition of several major locations, such as the Hathor facility or the Lazarus complex, we will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do, and we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
In 2025, we introduced 2 major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe. The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal, and determined to wipe out any threats that cross them. And with this month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the regen crisis throwing the Empire into chaos, and you all jumping in to help the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham Meller of the Hokro Agency. And just like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0. As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins, let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
When the Nyx system was first discovered, the United Empire of Earth, the UAE, came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really worth settling. The planets were too hard to terraform, the resources were too tough to get, so they opened it up. And one company saw opportunity where the UAE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so they expanded into the system and tried to mine as much as they could, making a very slim margin by the sheer quantity of resources they were pulling out.
The system itself sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest perspective, and then was mostly left abandoned.
Now this ended up being the ideal situation for the People's Alliance, who were a group of revolutionaries who were trying to overthrow the dictatorship of the Messer regime that was going on in the Empire at the time.
So they went to the Nyx system and established what became known as Levski. They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal. But they've fallen onto hard times. So Nyx today is kind of at an interesting point in its history. Now that the UEE has kind of transformed itself into a democratic society, what is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the Empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems than ever, and there's new threats lurking around every corner. And they have to ask, are they prepared to handle that? Or do they need to turn to the UEE for help?
Making a star system is, you approach it from kind of two angles in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? How does this new system plug into it, and what does it bring to the table from a sort of a flavor experience? We want to make sure that whatever it's bringing to the company is unique and has some flair to it.
So the Nyx system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vandal.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nyx is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping force in Nyx.
They were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect. They're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nyx safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
The Pyro star is quite a warm star. Stanton star is quite neutral. And the Nyx is a little bit cooler. The system has its star, and it has this dark, really, really dense gas, sort of nebulous cloud. And it has points of light scattered around it, and those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy. So because Nyx is bordering Vandal space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nyx gas cloud where you could sort of just in between the clouds, see a piece of the Vandal space. It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light. The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find, as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool. To give more atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light. For the jump points in Nyx, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyre to Nyx and one from Stanton to Nyx. It should be going from Nyx to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra temporarily.
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Glacian Belt is a huge asteroid belt that is in sort of the middle of the system.
The Glacian Belt is a combination of a bunch of technologies that we already had. The asteroid fields we use for planetary rings and the gas clouds, and it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
It's full of resources that are still left unharvested because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining. It's not the easiest place to go, but that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners to go out there.
So the rocks in Nyx are a bit more sharp, like sorts of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like, very different from those in the Pyro and the Stanton.
One of the big differences too is all of that extra added movement that just adds a little bit of extra flair.
It's also a good hiding spot for people who are trying to elude capture, maybe set up ambushes, that type of stuff.
Always feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just, you know, through empty void.
And as we build out the Glacian Belt over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
Delamar is a very large asteroid in the Glacian Belt that QV Planet Services had built a mining base on that got taken over by the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
Levski is our first and biggest social outpost for Nyx.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning. So it's kind of a San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
It's going to be the central hub for trade and hauling and all of the commerce within Nyx and also from Nyx to other systems. But it does have a CD underlayer to it.
Over the years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards this specific point to make large, explorable location. When you fly towards the Levski, you see this huge gas ring around it, scattered small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Well, Levski is immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
As you approach, you'll initially see a very dramatic borehole that goes all the way through the asteroid. You'll also see, growing out from there and alongside Levski, there will be landing pads along what I'd call the spine. Lots of industrial pipes and transport systems to bring out the refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
Before, we were using an actual planet, so we had all of the space available to place all of these structures. But now it kind of meant that we had to create an asteroid which has the appropriate size to.
If we took the whole shot of the asteroid, you will see that there is an area to fly underneath. We plan on bringing in whole sea gameplay, so this is exterior cargo elevators. So as a team, you will be able to load and unload cargo.
There's a lot more movement on the exterior, such as the cargo trains going around tracks. It's now going to be fully EVA-able. There will be walkways around the main landing zone to walk on using gravity plates, but you can drift off and kind of go wherever you want. They can explore fully the whole place, which is great.
Unlike the majority of anarchists living in Pyro, there are people here in Nyx that care.
It's not a downtrodden or derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
But we've had Levski before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be more in line with the newer features that have been put in since, but also visually, and there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard for a landing zone.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large statue of Anthony Tanaka, who was a child worker.
And was being worked to death, all of them were. And Anthony Tanaka just had a break and just said no, and stood up against the foremen, the supervisors, the managers, the guards, and was killed for it. And so he became a sort of a figurehead.
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in seeing the fall of the Messer regime.
So if you take the elevator up to the top deck, you'll see the top view and the cargo area as well. So you can go through the cargo shop. You've got your normal kind of cargo needs. You'll have ability to trade and buy your tractor beam and other gear that you need. So if you were to die in the Nyx system, then one of the places you might come out from is the hospital in Levski, which is called the Mercy Hospital.
So Mercy Hospital is just basically, it's a local med station for all the residents of Levski, anybody traveling through the system. Again, they're trying to provide as good medical help for people as they can.
When you arrive at the HAB's location, you'll be presented with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to the HAB room. So within that room will be pods.
And that's where the original miners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're a home for people in Levski. If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see market sellers selling their wares. There will be stalls, there will be kind of more embedded shops.
And that includes things like Corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects, which is for weapons. There's also one of my favorite places, Cafe Musée, which is where you can go down into some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink, and you never know who you meet down there.
I'm glad they haven't changed this up that much. This looks very similar to what they used to have.
Around and little side passages. There's another shop that's away from that area called Teachers.
Teach's Ship Shop is basically where you would go if you were looking to pick up a used ship, buy some ship parts, fix up your old ship, find some new stuff, sell some scrap.
We've closed up Dumpers Depot for Levski, and everything that used to be sold there will now be sold at Teachers. Another new area, as well as the cargo shop that we've added, is the refinery deck for Levski. That's where you can take your processed goods, not just from Levski, but from the rest of the Nyx system, and refine and sell those goods there.
I'd also like to note we're 20 minutes in, they have not mentioned a new ship yet. That's pretty impressive.
So it's super important that Levski is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay. So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years now.
I think it really provided a unique environment of it's run down, but the people who live there love it and are working their hardest to make it a great place to live.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia for you guys, and we don't want this just to be a re-release. We do want you to go, wow.
It's not going to be as complete as Pyro was when it first came out, but it's going to be our first iteration, and you're going to be able to see it grow as we work on it.
Like with everything, we're always learning and improving and finding new ways.
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen than just building the system while the players watch us build it around them?
It's going to add a nice dynamic to Stanton and be a much more calming of, style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and the people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original quite some time ago, so seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic.
Nice.
Asteroids, is that what you want to do, is build your own little Levski?
I wouldn't mind it. Yeah, that would be, even if we were just to build like little tiny like hidey holes, places to store stuff.
We talked about the Glacian Belt, but you're probably asking yourself, what's the new gameplay activity we're going to be doing? So let's find out.
Welcome to Nyx is your first experience in a new space station in a new solar system.
It's a mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore and look into. There's going to be some twists and turns, of course some combat, and if you're lucky enough to survive, maybe some good rewards.
This is basically a continuation of kind of our ASD storyline. So in the closing out what we had called our Science Run Amok storyline, we had revealed that ASD had been procuring sort of very black market illegal stuff in order to conduct their experiments. So this mission is basically going to be continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that illegal tech is being sold in the UEE, and they're hiring Intersect to investigate. Intersect Defense Solutions is the leading military defense contractor in the UEE. So the Navy contracts with them a lot for doing various kind of military operations that they don't want to handle themselves. We didn't want players to be working directly for the Navy. The Navy just doesn't call up random citizens and ask like, hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter? I guess as a player, when you can think about like, oh, where am I going to be doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations, that's all going to come from Intersect Defense Solutions. Intersect have discovered the source of the illegal tech is in the Nyx system and an old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come back online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
So when you come out of Quantum and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the Glacian Belt, and slowly the station will reveal itself. Now this is an old QV logistics station. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty derelict, but there's some points of interest that you'll spot as you go through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found in Pyro. This architectural design found its way over to the Nyx system as the system was being established, but you'll also see some additional design cues that QV Planetary Services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities. You'll notice there's a Polaris near the main hub. It's not a normal Polaris. It's damaged, it's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the playground for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
first time in the PU, the Vandal.
So the Vandal are
So that's the
a
Stinger right there for
nomadic,
anyone that's wondering, the
very,
big ship
very
in the middle.
violent spacefaring race.
They've been striking out against outposts and such in the Nyx system. They don't really know what they want, don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like whoever's running the station is really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system, and they're unaffiliated to any clan. There's small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
They'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
There it is.
You will be contacted.
Yeah,
by
Stinger's
some
very
on
large.
arrival asking you for help.
So at this point,
Like
you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight.
Somewhere between a Vanguard and a Carny.
You launch that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
This fight will be intense. The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
Still no ship sails on the site.
After you fight off the Vandal ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which Intersect sort of
There you go.
will encourage you to do because it'll help further their investigation against what's happening here, why these QV stations have come back online.
That is the most muted I've ever seen, Elliot.
And it turns out the inhabitants here have a real surprise for you.
The player will be immediately ambushed. These guys are not your friends.
Of course, it's not going to be easy because the people that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
The fight will be challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the players getting a sense of what exactly is going on there, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor. They'll be wielding unfamiliar weapons. And we want you to get a sense that you are in a new place, in a new territory, fighting a new faction.
So after you survive this initial ambush, you get back in touch with Intersect, and obviously the question is, who are these people? Why are they attacking? Why are the Vandal attacking them?
At this point, there's more going on here than anyone thought. The directive from Intersect is to explore the station and collect as much information as you possibly can.
Along the way, you're going to get to explore some new areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there, other forces that the Vandal have been attacking. There's a debris field.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the Vandal are after them.
You'll find new clues. You'll find ways to solve the puzzle of what's going on at the space station and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that you beat them.
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow. This isn't just a one-time event, this is a permanent sort of mission that we're going to be adding to the game.
You can go back and repeat this mission and find ways to do it even better, even faster.
There'll be a different story and different flavor. Obviously, we can't have the same thing happen every time. There'll be other missions that Intersect will offer to you based on the evidence that you found.
Now you know the real
Dungeon
story,
crawl.
and you can start digging and giving more information to Intersect along the way.
Okay, I'm guessing this is going to be the ship sail for the Stinger now.
I'm super excited to finally see the Vandal in the PU.
I'm excited to bring cool Vandal ship combat to SC.
Players in the PU will now get to face down these awesome ships and get a taste of like we already have it in Arena Commander where you get to fight the Vandal swarm, and being able to do that in the PU is going to be, I think, a heck of a lot of fun.
So this marks a great milestone for us for not only pushing hard and adding great content this year, we're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there,
If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the great work that all the teams have been doing this year. And I'll be right back in just a few minutes to look ahead at some of the things coming in 2026.
It's cool.
Yeah, here we
Hello,
go.
everyone, and welcome to the Voyager
I'm
Bar
I'm
in
happy with that.
beautiful scenic Orison, where the staff of Cloud Imperium Games Manchester is gathered for their very own CitizenCon Direct watch party.
Yeah, I need to
Dozens
go there
of
next
such
year.
events happening at locations around the world. We've gathered today to watch this sneak peek at just a little of what the next year of Star Citizen has in store for everyone. Oh, that was really good, everybody. I'm Jared Huckabee, your host for the festivities and for the show today. And let me tell you, it's not a joke. It's not a gag. Next week, we're hitting our 9th patch in 10 months. And then in November, we're going to finish out the year strong with the long-awaited arrival of the Nix system. And in case you missed it,
So
because you were
432
chatting with
is
friends,
next week.
it's not
Yeah.
the lawless wasteland of Pyro many folks have been speculating, but an independent system with its own set of rules and laws and multiple ways to get there. It's an exciting time for everyone at Cloud Imperium Games because, as the
No patch
architects of our
for
persistent universe said at the start of the show,
December.
the foundational tech that we've been building for so many years has now unlocked us to bring
I
more
think
to
they'll give
Star
us one.
Citizen than ever before as we continue our journey towards 1.0. Now, before we continue with the show, let's get a few housekeeping tasks out of the way. First, we're simulcast on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want the keen communities of Twitch or the 4K ultra high resolution of YouTube, you have your choice. Second, throughout the broadcast today,
Still no ship
we
sale.
want to see and hear what you have to say along the way, and you can tell us on social media by using hashtag CitizenCon. We're especially interested to see any photos from those watch parties that are happening across the globe, and we're going to find some way to bring a few of them into the broadcast later in the program.
I'll just do a picture of Marley sleeping on my foot.
Contest going for people to create their very own slice of life in the PU videos, and we played the winning entries during our pre-show countdown. The offerings were super varied. The idea was to work with a team to show the life of a miner or a hauler or a bounty hunter or whatever. But one guy just said, I'm going to make a video about how awesome I am. And I respect that. So shout out Nocturnal Revenant. I don't remember if you were one of the winners getting an L21 Wolf from Kruger for their efforts, but you won the coveted Disco Lando Complete Narcissist Award. Good job. And to all the winners, I'm sure someone will either be in touch with you about your wolves or they'll just show up on your accounts. I really don't know how that process works. Probably would have been good to find out before the show, huh? He's so afraid. Either way, if you missed the pre-show and are curious if you won, you can check the replay after we're done here today. All right. I just realized that my bosses, Chris and Sandy, are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now. A completely captive audience. So real behind the scenes here. This is especially torturous for Chris right now because he's super excited about the next segment we've got coming up. Aren't you, Chris? And you're just sat there right now, forced to watch and listen to anything I say.
Jared!
Did either of you regret that decision so long ago? All right, so I've probably pushed my luck enough. Let's get to the next thing. When Nix arrives next month, it'll have Levski, the Glacium Belt, and the new Welcome to Nix operation we just discussed.
So this will
But
probably be the
throughout
ship talk.
2026, we'll also continue to build the star system out
No,
with
that
new
Chris wouldn't
features
be that
and
excited
new
about it.
technologies.
Yeah,
that will
it's
not
true.
only set Nix
Construction.
apart and give it a unique identity from its sibling star
God, I
systems,
hope asteroid
but
bases.
continue to set Star Citizen apart from other video games altogether. Now, at this point, if you're running one of the watch parties, you're going to want to crank your speakers up for some brand new music from the Maestro Pedro himself. And let's take a look at some of what the next year has to offer for the Nix system.
Okay, here we go.
At Cloud Imperium Games, we believe art inspires the best technology, and through the development of that technology, it pushes us to create even better art. When Genesis comes to the persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world, and not just in the building of the new planets for the Nix system. We will also go back through Stanton and Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology. Previously, and more traditionally, we'd create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky.
Yeah,
For
ArcCorp
Star Citizen,
would be a cool
we like to do
update
scale
here.
on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now, this was a super hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale for Star Citizen requires. We challenged ourselves to emulate nature in the most believable way, and not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail. With Genesis, we've made a complete paradigm shift to how we do things. Biomes are now created based on the physical data sets, with the assets being spawned whenever and wherever the correct criteria is found. So when you see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply wants to be there. It fits inside our rules. Genesis also ties into our other gameplay systems. Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets, like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil type, soil amounts, geology erosion data, to name but a few. This means you can now tell where to find valuable minerals as the geology looks like it would be suitable for it. Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff faces, and where rocks have broken off over time due to erosion. Of course, these new tools still give us the ability to direct the look and feel we want. The attention to detail from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower is still our core DNA. With Genesis, we can now keep that detail-orientated mindset as we focus on the quality, and it provides the quantity. Genesis provides our planets with the ultimate sense of exploration and adventure, discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect place, with the planets providing an abundant resource to harvest. This is a major part of what exploration is for us. We want that feeling of finding a corner of the universe that you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home. Now I'm going to hand you over to Will to go deeper into what we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development and hone in on the final look for Nyx.
Yeah, that was crazy amounts
Thanks,
of detail.
Ian. So, in case it's not already clear, Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that are improving our ability to build worlds, refining those that we've already created, and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect. I work on planet tech, so let's talk about how that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx. So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a gas giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know. Nyx 2 is a yellow, toxic. It's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this system. Nyx 1 has got a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and grasslands, and from damp, expansive wetlands to claustrophobic, festering swamps. These core biome concepts give us a fantastic platform to hone our technology, in some cases because the current tech couldn't do them at all, or because we want to completely step up our game for them. So, let's approach this planet in much the same way that you, the player, will, from orbit.